the sky. I can't go on. The sun is gone and I miss you. I can't make the bed. I can't go on, so I tried to write you this message. You say things I can't express. Thought does run away and I get distressed. My love, let's take the stage tonight. This fear in the heart that's been taking this spell. My heart longs to bring you news of something else. Beyond the mirrors of chaos, we've got to brace ourselves. Outside, we'll see a half-moon smile. It seems my love, my life is rectified. It seems my love, my life does right, answering you. Looks like we're meeting again. On the head with a X-Man, on the stand of basement, at a crossroads in Europe, in a lake with your hair up, knowing the first time, one evening encounter. We don't have to yawn, withdraw when it gets dark. Leave the rubbish, leave the dishes, let them sink log. Yeah, the night's young, but still it'll take too long. We don't have to trudge on left, right. I used to be hostile, I felt so alone. But you shot me, you said don't be foolish, you can't hide. But don't you moan, just stay at my side. Just look at that sky tonight. Moving wishbone trails on the water. You said you have the time multiplied. We said let's stay a while, it feels right. Boom, another breach. Yeah, we're our futures, impressing on the world. Impressing on the world. Impressing on the world. Yeah, impressing on the world. You can see shape of our image. Yeah, the shape of our image. As the waking day decays and the city song starts to bleed, won't you take your turn, return upon the heath? Has no images, summer. You hold the rain, all peace-like to aerate your brain. It doesn't change. As peace tiles drink carbon from the wild country free. Cast off galleon, catch on the deep behind the deep. Pass foaming underground, the last crime to the paramount that made up our lives. Oh, Utopia Of Bog, you could just whisper and I would straight into your arms. I'm terrified to have withstood these ordeals, to press the vapors underfoot, to master the trials of having withstood. Would it be right? Well, the hook that I seek and set our hearts by some new device without wrongs. Well, a hook, well, a hook, replace this darkness with something alive. Well, a hug, direct as it eyes forward, forward step. The temptation divides the spite itself. Actuation rules. Vacate the room. Signs of grieving. I said I saw through a great whirlwind, unknown stations laid still as as time was shaking around agitations raised through blood without envy. How when faced with demons and foulness, I see it now. In sinners rob of their reeds, grasping at outlines of accelerating imagery. Proceed, take action, and protect your every pass between houses. Reject expected history. Say what you will, our lives run across. It's say what you will, our lives run across. Say you will, and the wind's wild. Say you will, now say alright. Real independence is what we like sleeping zeds like swans. Real fevers are in orbit. The real engines go forever. Walk in the park. Smell of inside. to us families are strange. Across and wide to you. Smell of inside. May roll through the night.
Wonderful, as always, Kiran Leonard live in session with Utopia of Bog. So, Kiran, would you mind introducing your bandmates, please?
Absolutely, yeah. So going counterclockwise around the room, got Mike O'Malley, who's playing the Saturn, which is kind of like, it's like a big mandolin or a bouzouki. It's got 5 double strings. Then we've got Magdalena McLean, she's playing the violin and is about to play a sampler. Then we've got Joshua Barfoot, who's playing the drum kit and he's about to play a hammer dulcimer. I've got Otto Wilberg, who is playing the bass and will continue to play the bass for the duration.
Otto, could you not find another instrument as well? Do you not feel a bit left out?
No, I've got loads of other instruments, but they won't let me use them.
No, it's typical of them, though, isn't it? Hey, it's all about them, isn't it? That's
Otto's he's a very good bass harmonica player.
He's a very good bass player.
There's been many, sort of like a low frequency connoisseur, but we haven't found a way to get the bass.
I prefer the low frequency consultant.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, brilliant stuff. And so, can we just turn the mandolin type of air down for a bit? Thank you, just while it's been tuned. That'll do it. And so, Kiran...
Sorry.
I was just saying, so, you know, obviously I've followed your career. I've known you for a long, long time. But, of course, you are a northern lad. But you're living in London now. So how did you find kind of integrating with a new musical community, which you obviously have?
Yeah, I guess it's just, you know, taken a while, it's taken a few years. But I think, like, especially I live in southeast London. And I found that, I don't know, slightly more conducive to kind of falling into a community. And I guess, like, going to, you know, venues where you see the same people rather than it being a different kind of group of people every night.
Right, okay.
Still find North London a bit alienating.
Right,
so
yeah,
sure. Like swapped now. I'm sort of like an ardent southerner.
Right, okay, sure. I mean, and it's pretty distracting with the tuning going on. Is there no way we can get around that?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I don't want you to be out of tune, but
we can. Why don't we chat, and then I will explain the next song while you tune. Sure.
Something like that. Yeah, that'd do better.
And the thing about so many strings.
Yeah, no, that's it. You're asking for trouble, aren't you? So over the recent years, you know, as I say, I've been keeping an eye on what you've been doing, and the bottom line is that you released some albums and they were kind of promoted, and we knew all about them. But every now and then, somebody would say, "Oh, Kiran Leonard's got something new out," and I always used to joke that they weren't released; they escaped. And so, so what brought this on? Your new album is called Real Home. So what brought that on to this point?
In terms of why have you heard about it, or why is it?
Why have you kind of gone back to the kind of more traditional approach of putting it out and having PR and all that kind of stuff?
I guess it's like, I think like when we were doing the press for it, it's like the first record with choruses for, you know, half a decade. Right. And that was a big, but also that, you know, which I kind of say as a joke, but also genuinely it was kind of a structural device that I had in my head when I was writing the songs for it, trying to write stuff that I guess was less like context dependent, and the sort of songs that could stand on their own as songs rather than, I guess, records I'd made in the past, including a lot of those secret records that escaped, and more kind of long form things, which is fun, but it means if a track is encountered outside of that context, it doesn't really work.
Sure.
So that was a big thing for this record. It wasn't just kind of like a go pop record, which kind of is as well, but it was also about trying to think about songwriting in a way that was constructive and not cynical, I guess.
When you say that, I mean, obviously, you did that session for us where you just had a collection of open-strung guitars, which you played one by one, and I've also seen you playing with the quartet. So, I mean, you're brave, and you always kind of embrace kind of endeavour and all that, which is one of the things that we love about you. So what is the cut and thrust of the album, then, Real Home? What's it about?
I guess it's a product of, moving to a new place. It's called Real Home because it was mostly made in people's houses. It was made in my dad's shed, or kind of in the flats of, I think, everyone here, actually. There's like bits of recording around there, which is, you know, it's partly an economic strategy. Like, I'm working on my own. I can't afford to rent a studio out for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, in the way that you can kind of pull money together if you're in a band, I guess. Or, but then that kind of, being forced to do that out of necessity becomes its own like aesthetic strategy as well. So I guess, and the songs become about it, because I find writing words really hard, and the only way I can do it is really write about the writing of the song, I guess.
Right.
So about how you're using words and how you, I don't know, thinking about the spaces that you're in and moving between them.
Right.
It just sounds a bit vague, but that's kind of the only way I can think about it. So then the aesthetic strategies of making the record in people's houses informs the subject matter, which is mostly about, I guess, like combating city alienation and trying to find ways to, as you say, find a place in musical communities and live in a communal sort of sociable way when you're in a city that kind of, the driving force is kind of alienation and self-advancement.
Well, you did move to London, though.
I moved.
Having said that,
but not for glory. I just followed my partner. She works there.
Sure.
So I was there but that was a big part of it. I was, you know, when I moved, it wasn't my decision, and so for a long time I found it very alienating.
Right, sure, okay, yeah, I get that. Okay, and so, and you know, you'll know better than I, because you followed your career more closely than I have, but not much. And so, always critical acclaim, you know, and then at one point, a few years back, you did decide to kind of just move on. You had real momentum going, and you had so much going, and then you decided to go to university, and then also spend some time abroad. Was that brave thing to do? I would consider it so.
I did a literature degree. I did Spanish and Portuguese, and then spent time working as an English teacher in Andorra, which is between Spain and France, for those at home who haven't heard of it. Which was nice. Yeah, I like Andorra.
Okay, and so that's good, I'm glad. But there was one of the things that tickled me, and it was your dad, John, told me about the fact that you joined, is it called Castella? Is it the sport? Yeah,
so I was very briefly a national athlete. I was a kind of a volunteer member of the Andorran Castellers team, which is an old, really Andorran culture is like Catalan culture. It's all, you know, it's kind of historically part Catalonian. Yeah, the Castellers, it's like a human castle building. So the way it works, you sort of need, you can have hundreds of people on a team, but you can do it with as few as, 30 or 40 people. So it's not like high intensity athletic training. You mostly kind of do it for a couple of hours and then go to the pub and eat lots of carbs. But you sort of have a load of people making a circle in the middle.
It's like a massive scrum, isn't it?
That's basically, yeah. At the bottom, you've got a big scrum, and everyone kind of. It's hard to demonstrate on your own, but like you got to kind of lean forward with your chest, so you're pushing your chest into the back of the other person behind you, and you link arms. Just realised we're on radio, so I don't know why I'm lifting my arms forward.
That's
like
okay.
that.
It's good
so
for me.
Lift your arms forward like you're a zombie,
yeah.
And you're kind of grabbing the wrists of the people in front of you, and all of that force gets pushed into these 4 very sturdy, usually short, sturdy blokes,
right,
who are all linked together in a circle, and then to make the castle. Basically, people of successively younger ages and weights add to the tower.
Human tower.
So next you have sort of like adult men and women will climb over this big scrum and get on the shoulders of the sturdy men. Then after that, it's usually maybe like teenage boys and girls. Then after that, it's younger and younger girls until you have 7 or 8 stories of people, and then a 6-year-old with a hard hat on, scrambling up at the top, and then she has to lift her hand up and. There's a band as well that plays a big da 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 at the top, and then. But it was an amazing experience. It's like really funny, but it was a genuinely. I don't know. I'm not really very sporty. I never have been. So, but there's something about you really are part of one body.
Big physical mass, isn't it?
All of that force is all pushing together towards one very simple objective, which is build a big tower. I found it a very, very emotional. Moving thing, and there is a song about it on one of the Secret records.
Right, I mean it is amazing because yes, as you say, you've got the scrum, then you've got the human tower, then you've got this tiny little person with a crash helmet scampering to the top, and when they get to the top, they have to bat themselves on the head, don't they? And then it all implodes. People should go and have a look at this.
You're meant to sort of disassemble in an ordered way, but sometimes they do fall down. But it's not as dangerous as it looks. Yeah, the kids are all right.
You're at the bottom and they're all falling on you. But anyway,
but that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so the album is Real Home and it's out now, and you're going to do another song for us now, and then in between that, you're going to have to tune a little bit. I believe there might be a bit more tuning going on.
So we'll reintroduce the sitter and tuning now.
Go on,
and I'll just explain. You know what I'll do is I'll explain the song that we played before because that's got a good plot to it. So it's called Utopia of Bog. And it was based on an article I read ages ago about rewilding. Should I imagine is that a thing that you're into, like rewilding and?
Not really.
No. Okay. Well, I don't know. I didn't. Lots of people are very keen on it. I'm keen on it as well, but I was kind of. So it's not an anti-rewilding song. I feel like it was about to be really reactionary.
Right.
But it's kind of about. There's something funny about the whole point of it is you make these big bogs and they're going to be carbon sinks.
Yeah.
And, we can just kind of pull all of this nasty stuff that's in the air and we can just push it underground. And I found that kind of a funny, compelling image, almost kind of a one that was in denial. I don't know. We could just push all this horrible history underground and then we don't have to worry about it.
Right. Okay.
So that was what that song was about. And then shall I move on to and then we'll do this other song called Pasture Houses, which isn't as interesting. The song's good, but it's just about living in London and it being really hard.
Okay. All right then. So Kiran Leonard and his band live in session. Middle of a session or towards the end of a session actually now with Kiran Leonard and his band. The album's called Real Home. It's out now. And the tour, the 8th of May, the White Hotel in Salford. On the 9th, Glad Cafe in Glasgow. Clooney, Newcastle, supporting Snapped Ankles. On the 10th, we've got the 11th, Delicious Clam in Sheffield. The 12th, Common Ground in Oxford. The 13th of May, the Blue Moon in Cambridge. And then the 26th of May, the Moth Club in London. Anything
26th
else?
of June.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a bit late at that one, 26th of June.
Right, it's May there, well, that needs changing.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, mate, no bother. And so is there anything else? Have you got any festivals coming up this summer?
No, I mean, hopefully we'll do some more gigs later in the year for the cities that we missed.
Great.
But yeah, those are the ones in the calendar at the moment.
Brilliant. All right, then, so you're going to play the title track of the album now for us, aren't you?
Yep.
Great, thank you. Kiran Leonard, live in session.